In the last episode, you heard from Matt Bertulli from PLA Case and Lume, who shared his best tips on how to create your own category as a brand. Now, today on episode number 33, get ready. Riley Stricklin is the CEO at Lume Cube, an e-commerce brand that designs premium lighting for content creation. We'll be chatting about how Lume Cube has been using industry-specific landing pages, I love that topic, of course, to increase conversions by anywhere from 35 to 50% over sending that traffic to PDPs. Super excited to dive into this with Riley. And today, well, I'm your host, Raphael Paulin-Daigle, and I'm the founder of Splitbase. This is Minds of Ecommerce. Now, this episode is also sponsored by Splitbase. And at Splitbase, we help leading direct-to-consumer brands such as Dr. Squatch, Hyperice, and Amica A/B test, design, build, and manage high-converting landing pages and on-site experiences. Our optimization programs pinpoints exactly where your store is losing money most, and then we help you fix it. The result, increased conversions, AOV, and of course, improved marketing efficiency. With our team of conversion optimization specialists, performance marketers, and conversion designers, we've got your back when it comes to testing and optimization. Request a proposal on splitbase.com today to learn how we can help you get the most out of your marketing spend. All right, Riley, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Stoked to be here.
So you've been doing a lot of cool things with your brand Lume Cube. Initially, I thought we'd be talking about how you're targeting creators and building creator communities. And turns out we're still going to be talking about how to target creators, but in this slightly different way, because you told me you had some pretty amazing results with landing pages.
Absolutely.
And as you know, well, this podcast is all about going deep, right? And we're going to be dissecting one key growth strategy so our listeners can get the most value right away. And before we get into landing pages, I'll have a lot of questions for you, and I'll really want to know what you've done that you think made landing pages successful for you guys. But before, just maybe to provide some context to the audience, for how long have you been working on Lume Cube?
Started the brand in 2014. So 9 years. Next year will be our 10-year anniversary.
Amazing. Any highlights or anything that you're particularly proud of having achieved with that brand over the last 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of growth. We started back then as a GoPro accessory brand with lighting, and have now kind of ridden that content wave of YouTubers, content creators. But we've put 2 SKUs in 600 Apple stores around the world. We've made it into Best Buys across the country, and obviously now, the primary focus of the brand is direct to consumer. That's where we've been able to build a relationship with customers. But yeah, when I look at our product line from where we were to where we are today, product development is probably what we're most excited about. It's gotten light years better.
Amazing. So let's talk landing pages. Now, I'd love maybe just to get your first take and overview on how do you guys use landing pages at Lume Cube?
Yeah, we've experimented a little bit over the years, but where the most success is happening in the last, call it 90 days, is really in custom paid media funnels. So our top seller is a ring light. I think everybody knows what a ring light is. But really what has become interesting to us is it has so many vast applications. So to target and portray those applications on a single PDP was really challenging for us. And we really dissected our customer base and realized there's content creators, there's tattoo artists, there's salon owners and beauticians. And we were creating custom ad content that was performing really well, but it was all going to the single landing page that just couldn't really portray all those uses. So we started breaking those funnels out to kind of industry specific, where paid media would drive that traffic to a single landing page, and we saw conversion rates skyrocket.
Amazing. Now, I'd love to know, like, how custom are each of those landing pages to the different audiences? Because, I think a lot of people can think of customizing landing pages in different ways. Like maybe it's just a headline change, maybe we're changing the images, or maybe the entire landing page is fully different. So what are we looking at for you guys?
It stays on brand in terms of color and feel, but the content is completely customized. So we have a healthy business selling to tattoo artists, for example. So that page, we look like we are a native tattoo company. We talk about 5 reasons tattoo artists specifically like this light. We show before and afters of their work. We show imagery and content from in the studio, and then we have 4 to 6 testimonials of tattoo artists saying, this is why I use the light, and showing them using it. And so there's nothing about YouTube content creation or any of that. It is fully skinned with all content around that particular audience. And obviously, we highly focus on even that demographic as well. What age? That's highly male, versus the beautician one is much lighter colors, all female oriented. So yeah, it is full lean in. We swing the pendulum pretty hard, and you can still link to the landing page and the general landing page and explore the website to see kind of who Lume Cube is. But that page in particular is highly focused on that user.
Awesome. You mentioned 5 reasons, the 5 reasons why type of landing page is obviously very popular. So what do your landing pages look like? Are we talking about actual 5 reasons types of landing pages, or are those 5 reasons just listed on a more traditional type of landing page?
We've kind of tried 2 versions. So we've built this out for about 3 of our top sellers, and we've tried more for each product. And it's interesting that depending on the product and the individual, different ones work for different products. So that kind of artist, that tattoo artist, that beautician has responded very well to the 5 reasons why, because they're, they look at this is an investment for them. It's not a nice to have. They're using it in their studio, in their med spa as a tool. So they want to really know intricate reasons why this tool might be better than something that they buy on Amazon. So that kind of listicle, as we call it, has been working really well. For the general content creator, that same concept hasn't performed as well, as just more of infographic-y. Let's show a bunch more content examples. Let's show a bunch more testimonials. So it's been interesting that we tried both examples, a listicle and kind of just a deeper info content focused one, and some have worked well for others. So it just kind of, I think, enhances that concept that testing is a real great part of the process.
Yeah, definitely highlights that a test is necessary. I always say, right, like landing pages, they're not like this magical pill that sometimes people think they are. They're hypotheses. They're just like A/B tests on a site, except that they take a lot more work to build than most A/B tests, right? But it's still the same thing, right? Like I think the industry-wide statistic on A/B testing is that 1 out of 7 A/B tests actually outperforms. Only 1 out of 7. Right. Wow. So this is the industry-wide accepted statistic. Now, there's no reason why it would be any different for landing pages as well. To me, building a landing page that's brand new, that is as well a hypothesis. And sometimes you get lucky and then bam, the first one just creates great ROI, but sometimes it takes 7. And it seems like you guys have seen that as well, right? Like some listicles didn't work, but then the other ones worked, and there's no one size fits all.
Absolutely. And it's been fun to kind of watch with some heat mapping, what components of those those pages are actually getting the most engagement. And then, if it's something that is more general, let's say just a testimonial section, that's not industry specific. We'll take that and say, hey, let's now pull that to the primary PDP, start kind of testing these different components to see, is there anything that should live on the native website for all of our products that seems to be really high engagement. But yeah, for right now, it's all paid media traffic. So that's where we're running all these tests. So in native website exploration, you can't find any of these. These are all running exclusively through paid funnels.
Now, are you also, it sounds like it's probably mostly paid social, but are you also utilizing those landing pages elsewhere? You can't find them on the website, but what about, paid search, maybe TikTok? I don't know if you're big on that, but what type of exploration have you done when it comes to channels and landing pages?
Yeah, paid search as well, because that's where, I'll use that tattoo artist as an example, who's kind of a specific individual. They're searching for light for tattoo or tattoo light. So if they click that Google search link and go to a page that just has some YouTuber kind of cooking with it and stuff, not as specific. So we'll take those industry specific paid search terms, and then they'll go to that page that says, here's the best tattoo light. Check out the 5 reasons why it's the best tattoo light. And then we are just starting in this last 30 days. We just kind of didn't think of it at the beginning, but if it works in paid social and paid search on these ad funnels, hey, let's run some email campaigns to who's looked at that ring light and hasn't purchased.
Totally.
dive them in, yeah, so it's been a fun. You can, of course, from the landing page get to the homepage and continue shopping, but then you can't get back. So it's still hidden, and we're kind of messing with how do we want to incorporate that in our native site.
Totally. Awesome. Now, what's the strategy for getting people to add to cart? Are you sending people from the landing page to a product page, or the entire process of adding the product to the cart happens on that one landing page?
We started with redirecting to the product page, and it has worked, but we have seen add to carts increase a lot by just adding that direct add to cart button on the landing page. The interesting thing is we've seen add to carts go up about 200-300%. It hasn't necessarily changed the conversion rate, but what I'm happy about is that we just have a lot more people we can put in our cart abandonment funnels. So while the page, they've converted revenue wise the same, and even though one has a higher add to cart, it's that one extra touch point that allows us to follow up with that person and put them through another campaign. So we're just starting to test kind of that tail end, and is that going to work for us? So still in testing phase there, but we have definitely seen add to carts jump pretty significantly when adding it just directly to the landing page.
Got it. Awesome. What about bundles? Are you currently promoting single products, bundles? Obviously, I've been talking bundles, I think, in the past 2 episodes with Jordan of Caraway Home, and then Matt Bertulli in the last episode. We talked about that a little bit as well. What about bundles on landing pages? Have you gotten there? Is that something you're actively experimenting with?
That's the next phase. So everything's been product specific right now, and just kind of proving out this concept. We're probably about 90 days in and seeing some great results. And we have, over time, just us as a brand, bundles has been key for us. We've seen our AOV double over the last 3 years, mainly due to that. Instead of kind of a la carte, hey, here's all the gear as a photographer, filmmaker, content creator that you need, the light, the stand, the accessories. So we've proven that out on our .com, and that's exactly what we've been talking about lately. Hey, proven out landing pages work. Can we get that AOV higher, and explain why this $500 kit is going to be exactly what you need? So I think there's a lot more testing next year for us that we'll do.
Totally, because at the end of the day, right, I'm sure you have like the tattoo artist. I'm sure they need a very specific set of products that might be different than, the YouTuber. And then just kind of giving that entire bundle is definitely a low-hanging fruit. Super interesting. Now, I think this is one thing I really want to talk about, which is defining your audience. You have different landing pages customized to different segments of your audience. There is also such a thing as over personalization, and I think there's also a risk of brands guessing their audiences and spending a lot of time and money building pages for who they think their audience is without truly knowing if that's their audience, and that's probably not going to work either. So what was your approach for understanding who's your audience and what they actually need and resonate with?
Yeah, and we are absolutely guilty of all those things. I'll raise my hand in that. And it actually happened this year, midway through the year. We did our executive offsite, and I pulled all of our year-to-date conversion rates on all of our PDPs. And we had gone into the year thinking a little bit more kind of the higher end filmmaker who has, $5,000 DSLR, that was our core customer. And we have 3 products for that customer. We have a number of products for the mobile creator. And what was showing is that the products for that higher end filmmaker were converting at, those PDPs were at like a 0.5, 0.6. And then all those items for tattoo artists and beauticians and ring lights and mobile creators were at the 1.5 mark. So who I assumed and who we were showcasing on the website, where you would see a lot of these filmmakers, was actually the lowest converting audience. So it kind of was a slap in the face. We went through this 60-day period doing a lot of surveys for our customers and really talking to them. And that was absolutely eye-opening, where we thought, the ring light PDP was highly focused on YouTube content creation kind of video. And we talked to a ton of these artists or these customers, and they were saying, no, I'm actually a tattoo artist, or I own 3 salons and I'm using it for this. So that was eye-opening for us. So highly endorse, if you're a brand founder, like, talk to your customers, run surveys. That was great for us. And, offering a little discount, hey, answer these 10 questions and get 20% off your next purchase. And we saw a lot of engagement, and that has really helped direct our direction, both in not just the short term of landing page testing, but in the next 2 years of product roadmap, of realizing, whoa, who I thought I was selling to is actually a different customer, and they need different things. So let's kind of pivot the roadmap. And that was massive for us.
Amazing. I love, for some people, the word survey is probably not super exciting. For me, I mean, it's one of the things I talk in almost every single episode, right? And when we build landing pages, surveys end up becoming the backbone of a landing page strategy. So I'm 100% with you. Surveys are amazing, especially if they're done well, if they're qualitative. There's a lot to gain from talking with customers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you look at the past couple of months or so of testing landing pages, building landing pages, what are maybe some mistakes that you guys have made when it comes to landing pages? Is there anything notable that you can think of?
Great question. I would say we probably are on one product. We went a little, call it over segmentation. We went a little too specific on some stuff, and that one didn't seem to work. And a little too technical. I think we, being the manufacturer, being the brand, I could tell you, the 5 or 6 things that make this product super unique, the way we've designed into it, why we've designed it, the angles, the features, the materials. And we went a little too product oriented. And I think we'll pulled back and realized, at the end of the day, people are more concerned with the benefit that the product is going to deliver than the features. And I might, so I'll go through these 5 reasons, and they're technical specific specs of the product, where when we pivoted that to just like, hey, check out the before and after, with light, without light, check out, how this helped this customer, being much more benefit focused was what really showed to work much more. So obviously any founders very in love with their own product, they're the designers, they're the developers, but realizing I care much more about that than our end customer. They just care what the benefit is. We went a little too product spec, flipped that, and then it started to work.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think the one thing to always remember, and like in your case, for example, people aren't really buying lights. They're buying better video, higher quality pictures, right? And that's what most people care about. And then the rest is obviously important too. But at the end of the day, same thing in skincare, right? When people are buying a cream, they're buying, better looking skin, more confidence.
Exactly.
Now, when you're testing those landing pages, like this is a question that I get often, so I'd love to know kind of your take on it, but how long do you wait for your landing pages to run for you to decide if it's working or not? I've seen kind of all shades of the spectrum, but I'd love to know, how do you make a decision, and what are you looking for when deciding whether a landing page is working or not?
Yeah, great question. I tried not even to look at anything for at least 2 weeks. And we've run a nice little business. So I've been kind of putting about 10 grand behind each one, trying to get in that realm of, 10,000, give or take, hits on the page to get a decent sample size. Right out of the gate. Obviously, we're excited. We spent a month building our first page, and after like 2 days, hey, is it working? Is it working? And you realize there's 600 people who've been there, way too small of a sample size. So we do have about 10% of our monthly paid search, paid social budget we kind of allocate to just testing, knowing that, hey, that may not hit our 2x marker, that may hit a 0.6 return on that 10 grand, but my philosophy is experience and learning is what you get when you don't get what you want. So let's not pull that back and just do what works. A little bit different this time of year for the next few weeks. Let's do what works. But we try to commit to running 10% of our ad budget to testing. And for me, it's been about that. Have we spent 10K on it? Have we gotten 10,000 hits on that page? Then I can watch it.
Amazing.
But what you always do is on every single one, we use Crazy Egg as a heat mapping tool. So I'd launch heat mapping on every single one of them just to kind of compare and see how it's being engaged with, how deep are they going, should we stack the content, or should we have carousels where they're scrolling, and just try to best understand the actions of the consumer.
Awesome. Riley, I think what you just shared about the percentage of budget that you allocate to landing pages and how you test them is probably one of the most single important thing for people to remember out of this, because I've been building landing pages probably for the past 8 years through Splitbase. And the one thing constantly that leads to failure with landing pages at a brand of any size is the failure for a brand to actually put enough money behind a landing page to see it's going to succeed or not. I've seen big brands not have the guts to put more than, believe it or not, $50 a day, thinking that, that's all they can risk. But here's the truth. No one's going to figure out if a landing page works or not. If you're a big brand and you're spending $50 a day, you need to put, exactly like you said, try to get a couple hundred, if not 1,000 conversions per page. Run the test for a while. Trust the math. I think that's super, super, super important. Riley, we're pretty much out of time, but there's one question I love to ask people like you, which is, you've been an entrepreneur for a while and you've built a great brand. Now, who's someone or a brand that you look up to?
Great question. We internally, we use Yeti as an example, because at the end of the day for us, I don't sit on a number of patents that I can say we have a very unique product. We are, call it ring lights, for example, very commonly sold product, large situation on Amazon. So when we look at it, we are taking a commodity and trying to build a premium version and then a brand around it. And I think the pivotal best one is somebody like a Yeti. Igloo coolers existed for years. I'm sure 10 years ago, people would have sat in a conference room and said, we want to build a $500 cooler. And it would have been like, what are you talking about, man? A cooler's a cooler. They all work. And so that's a brand that they have built a brand, built an audience, built a premium product. And then I think they have all of our trust where they could come out with, coffee mugs, camping chairs, whatever. And it's going to be quality. You trust the brand. Part of it.
Amazing. Riley, thank you so much for being here. Lots of incredibly valuable information. Can't wait for this episode to go live. Now, if people want to learn more about you or Lume Cube, where should they go?
Yeah, Lume Cube, LUMECUBE.com. That's the website. We got a lot of great stuff happening this Q4. And then I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, participate on there. So just Riley Stricklin, find me out there. Would love to connect.
All right, Riley, thank you so much.
Awesome, man. Thanks, Raph.